Controversy has surrounded the reported visit of former Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC headquarters. Bello's media team claims he honored the invitation, while the EFCC denies this, stating that Bello remains a wanted person. According to Bello's media office, he visited the EFCC voluntarily to clear his name following consultations with his legal team and associates. However, the EFCC countered that Bello was not in their custody and is still wanted for alleged 80.2 billion naira money laundering charges.
Now, the EFCC has filed 19 charges against Yahaya Bello, his nephew, Ali Bello, Dauda Suleiman, and Abdusalam Hudu for money laundering offenses totaling 80.2 billion naira. Joining us is the Executive Director, Sterling Law Center, Deji Ajare. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Okay. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
All right, I think we should first of all just provide some clarity as to what happened yesterday. The Yahaya Bello media team say that he simply went there to clear his name. I don't know if it's that easy to just walk into the EFCC, clear your name, and then go home. That's what they are saying. The EFCC, of course, is also saying that he's still wanted. And of course, he's not in their custody. He's still a wanted man. Make some sense out of all of what happened yesterday for us, please.
Honestly, I am just as confused as you are. The entire saga is becoming quite embarrassing, really. And for me, it's beginning to look like the EFCC is quite unserious, really, with prosecuting this matter. First, if you have declared Bello wanted, and there is already a warrant of arrest for him from the court, and if indeed Bello was in the EFCC premises as alleged by his media team, then the EFCC should have picked him up. There is nothing like clearing his name now. At this point, I think they've gone beyond the stage of investigations. There is already a charge filed in court. Presumably, the EFCC already has its proof. If that is the case, then there is nothing to clear with EFCC. Anything Yahaya Bello needs to clear right now is at the courts. The case is sub judice. So, for me, it appears like it's something fishy is going on, and it is actually happening between Yahaya Bello and his team and the EFCC on the other side. Because I can't understand really why Yahaya Bello would walk into EFCC and walk out a free man yesterday. There is no basis. He should have been arrested, and it would not be about clearing his name. It would be about presenting him to the court to let the court know that the person whom the court ordered to be arrested for evading, for avoiding coming to court to stand trial all along has not been found. I think usually when that happens, the courts will basically go into trial and, of course, order the remand of the victim or grant him bail on terms that the court deems fit. So what happened yesterday is basically a justification for those who all along have been saying, oh, the EFCC and the EFCC chairman have basically been playing to the gallery, and that there is nothing that will come out of this entire trial.
All right, and let's also talk about another fresh allegation, a fresh report that was released by his media team. Now, the reports were that there was an attack by persons alleged to be EFCC operatives, an attempt to arrest him forcefully, that there was sporadic shooting at his lodge in Abuja. So, we can't really make sense of what happened earlier, because if a wanted person walks into the facility and walks out, the question is what happened in there. But I think the follow-up to, if we do confirm that it was indeed the EFCC that laid siege around his apartment and forcefully tried to arrest him, help us make sense of that as well. Is that a legal way to enforce arrest, going in the thick of the night and having operatives surrounding the apartment, shooting and forcefully trying to arrest someone who had initially submitted himself for questioning?
Really, when you have a man wanted, there is no time, there is no location that person cannot be arrested. There is, there is nothing that stops the EFCC, that prohibits or prevents the EFCC from going to his house to arrest him. The idea behind sporadic shooting, I do not know, except they were attacked, or except there were attempts to prevent them from gaining access to the premises. there should be no basis for the sporadic shooting. But then, what is confusing would be if it is true that EFCC came, Yahaya Bello entered the premises of the EFCC earlier in the day. Why was he not detained at that time? Why would they let him go and then get back to the lodge before they now go to attempt to arrest him? And while I have my suspicions really that this whole thing is just a media spin by Yahaya Bello's team, but I mean, one cannot really conclude. But given the antecedents of Yahaya Bello, this is not going to be strange really to think that, look, this whole thing is being spinned by his team to make it look like, oh, he's not running from the law. But in any event, in any case, this matter is already in court. A date has been set for hearing. The honorable thing for Yahaya Bello to do, if you ask me, is not to go to EFCC at this point. It is already past that stage. It should go to court on the next adjourned date. He should present himself before the court. He has been investigated. The EFCC is convinced that they have enough evidence to prove his guilt, and they have approached the court for that. So he should take his attempt to clear his name to the court and not to the EFCC anymore.
Yeah. I mean, probably just going to assume that, he was wearing his I am a chosen apparel yesterday, so he walked in and walked out without without any.
Oh, perhaps. Perhaps.
But I mean, just for clarity, he was declared wanted.
And maybe, and apparently, it looked like it worked for him anyway. So
it definitely
that's
did.
a positive side.
Yes, so who are you? I am a chosen. But for clarity, right, he was declared wanted on the 18th of April. A court actually, of course, approved an arrest warrant for Yahaya Bello. Since then, he seems to be missing, and nobody was able to locate or find exactly where he is. So I want us to, also, share details about the case itself. He's been accused of 80 billion naira fraud. Tell us, what the EFCC needs to do and how much of a stain this is on the EFCC chairman.
Well, you see, the EFCC chairman first, he swore that unless and until Yahaya Bello is unless Yahaya Bello is prosecuted and jailed, he was going to resign from his office. But what he smartly did was that he did not set a timeline for the trial to take place and for him to resign. So as it is right now, we can still continue to count on his words. But like I said, the EFCC has conducted. Remember that Yahaya Bello was governor for 8 years. Some of the things he is alleged, some of the offenses he's alleged to have committed were presumably said to have been committed in the early days of his reign as governor. Now, within all that period, Yahaya Bello had immunity and could not be arrested. However, investigations have been going on. There have been invitations to other people who are concerned in this whole matter, including his nephew. So, my belief is that EFCC has conducted, a far-reaching investigation into the allegations, and they have found enough evidence that are incriminating against Yahaya Bello, and it is the basis upon which they would approach the court and file charges there. Now, Yahaya Bello was alleged to have laundered about 80 billion naira of Kogi state funds. Unfortunately, the supply side of this is from the state, and unfortunately, that state is currently being governed by money installed. So clearly, we're not going to hear any details from the state.
Installed or supported.
We can only continue to rely on what the EFCC gives us for now. Expectedly, Yahaya Bello and his team, they will continue to deny the allegations. Nobody has ever been accused of stealing public funds in Nigeria, and they acknowledged doing so. So what we expect is a proper trial. It is not drama. It is not all of this media hype and spinning that we're currently seeing. The EFCC should get serious. The EFCC should arrest Yahaya Bello if it can. Yahaya Bello should get serious. Should understand that Nigerians are not interested in drama. He acted drama all through his 8 years as governor, and it yielded nothing. It is time for him, if he indeed claim to be a law-abiding citizen, to approach the court and clear his name. That is where he should clear his name right now. And so there is no, for me, the entire drama that is being played out in the media is needless. It is not worth anything at all, and it is not going to save Yahaya Bello's head, because the courts will not listen to media, the media statements and all of that are going on. Ultimately, the court will be interested in the proof of evidence supplied by the EFCC, and that's
We're hoping that,
the
the EFCC can actually give us more clarity. We will definitely reach out to the EFCC. They've been on the show before. We'll reach out to them to come and give us clarity as to what exactly is going on with Yahaya Bello's case. But let's talk about the role that the current governor of Kogi State, Usman Ododo, plays in all of this. We saw him walking his predecessor to the EFCC headquarters, showing solidarity. And we've seen the role that he's played in helping him resist the arrest in the early part of the year, sometime in April. Right now, we know that nothing can be done about it because there is immunity as provided for, governors in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But should this be something that should be picked up when his time in office is done? Should he be made to face the law for that, for ensuring or enabling an accused person resist arrest?
Yes, Alhaji Ododo is behaving like a houseboy, and that is what exactly he is. I'm sorry to use that word, because he was installed by Yahaya Bello to protect his interests. I understand that, but he is not taking his cue from other governors. I mean, he's not the first person who is going to succeed his boss in office. We've had other governors who were basically installed by their predecessors there. But I mean, a time comes when a man stands on his own. He does what is right, what is indeed right for the state. Now, Yahaya Bello's trial is none of his business. It is not an official thing. It is not something that he is supposed to concern himself with as governor. That is Yahaya Bello's private business, and there is no basis for attempting to shield Yahaya Bello from facing justice for his actions while he was in office. I think while we may say yes, or indeed he has immunity, I had recommended to the Kogi State House of Assembly before that impeachment proceedings should be commenced against Usman Ododo, because a prima facie case has been made out against him that he was shielding a wanted person. That is an impeachable offense. So what the Kogi State House of Assembly should do, if they themselves are truly independent, is commence impeachment proceedings. This will actually lead to proper investigation of circumstances surrounding the efforts of the state governor to help the former governor escape from EFCC arrest. And when we said that, he did try to help him escape in the past, of course, his appointees came all out and were accusing and were asking for evidence of all of that. But today, the fact that he followed him to EFCC is actually full and conclusive proof that those allegations are true. Because if they were not true, why would the state governor abandon his primary functions, the primary responsibilities for which he was elected? Why would he abandon that and be going to EFCC to show solidarity for someone who is alleged to have committed offenses? I don't think that is proper.
It's one thing.
So for me, it is just basically an indication of the anyhowness in our system. Because indeed, if Kogi State people would stand up and demand that this whole charade should stop, it will stop. The governor is an elected public official. His trips, his visits, his entourage are all paid for from the public coffers, and so they should not be wasted on frivolities like going with Yahaya Bello on solidarity visit to the EFCC.
Is there anything in this whole conversation that is shocking? Because I mean, this is the same EFCC that goes on regular night raids to hotels and nightclubs, and arrest as many people as they want. How does that same EFCC struggle to arrest just one person? And also, how is someone who has been declared wanted still having police protection? Still, having police aides around him? How is that a real situation in any part of the world?
there is nothing in this whole thing that is making sense. Absolutely. Nothing is making sense. First, from the very beginning, you declare someone wanted. There were policemen around him. That prevented the EFCC from accessing him, from arresting him. Then today he walks into the EFCC office and walks out, and he's not detained. And you say he's a wanted person. Really, it calls to question the effectiveness of the EFCC. And like I said, there are those who have expressed.
Okay, seems that our network, we're having a bit of network challenge. We hope that we can wrap up the conversation. But yes, the EFCC and Yahaya Bello drama still unfolds. The allegations leveled against Yahaya Bello are for misappropriation of funds belonging to Kogi state government to the tune of 80.2 billion naira. This matter is still ongoing. He's been declared wanted by the EFCC, so he still is a wanted person. But I think another big question is, where is Yahaya Bello in this moment? We can't really say what it is. His media team had released a statement that persons alleged to be EFCC operatives were stormed his apartment last night in Asokoro and shooting sporadically and attempting to forcefully arrest him, even though he had earlier on submitted himself for questioning. So it's what exactly is the drama that's going on? Our guest is back with us. We'll have you wrap up, your statement. You were answering his question earlier regarding
the police protection, for someone who's declared wanted.
Yes. So really, it doesn't make any sense that if we in a country where we have interagency cooperation between law enforcement agencies, if it is so, how could the EFCC declare someone wanted, and then you have the police protecting him, and then you have the DSS watching him? And again, it also goes to the complicity of the current governor Ododo today, because quite naturally, of course, he is expected to have police protection, and it is this same police protection that is being extended to the former governor Yahaya Bello. And of course, you do not expect the IG of police to withdraw the protection of the current governor just because they want to arrest Yahaya Bello. That would lead to a different controversy entirely. That would lead to a totally different drama. And of course, knowing how the Yahaya Bello team is, you can be sure they are going to spin it into some sort of conspiracy theory again. And so it's quite mind-boggling, really. But, well, it is Nigeria, and this is what we have. But one can only hope that the EFCC is truly committed and is working in cooperation with other agencies to ensure that this one suspect does not escape justice.
Well, I mean, on paper, Olive.
Well, earlier when you were answering the question about Usman Ododo's role in all of this, you had said that not the exact words, but that the right-thinking House of Assembly will do the needful because it's probably something that should be an impeachable offense. It's one thing to say what should be, it's another thing to say what will be. Having stated all that you've stated, do you think that the House of Assembly will take all of that into consideration and review his position as governor of the state?
Oh, absolutely not. The state's House of Assembly is an appendage of the executive. It has no mind of its own. It will not work or do anything that is contrary to what Ododo or Yahaya Bello wants. So you can expect that will not happen. The only way the State House of Assembly can be pressured into be doing the appropriate thing is that the people, the citizens of Kogi State, stand up and make these demands and make them strongly. Unfortunately, one is not certain whether indeed those people are motivated enough. These are people that have been lobotomized over the years through poverty, through state instilled poverty, through violence, state instigated violence, through threats and intimidation. And so it's doubtful, really, if that can come without some sort of engineering.
Well, what we're seeing here, is a very visible, glaring belittling of Nigeria's institutions by persons with political power. It's as clear as day, that these institutions are not strong enough to function when there's political might, from a few persons. Would you expect that the current administration, led by, of course, the President Bola Tinubu, will, of course, in a bid to not let this be a stain on his administration's strengthening of institutions? I know that they didn't necessarily campaign with the fight against corruption, but would you expect that the federal government, as it stands, would look at this issue and, if it is to give the regular marching orders that they normally give, but at least say something to ensure that the EFCC and the Nigerian police and the criminal justice system is not belittled the way it is currently being done.
Do you think the president really cares? I don't think so. I'm sorry to say. I really don't think the president is concerned about the effectiveness of the institutions. And I say this based on facts that are available. First, this matter, this saga has been on for close to 7 months now. Not once has the president made a statement for or against. Not once have we heard the president condemn all of the whole shenanigans that have been going on between the law enforcement agencies, the police, the EFCC. Not once have we heard him make any statement. I mean, as asking Yahaya Bello, who coincidentally they belong to the same political party, and who coincidentally was also an aspirant under the political party in the last election. Not once has the president asked him to go and let justice be done, and giving him assurances too that the proper things will be done and that he will not be maltreated by the agencies. But I'm not convinced that the president really cares about the public perception of these agencies. First, I am not sure that the president is also concerned, in fact, about the effectiveness of these agencies. And really, if you also ask me, are there any tangible efforts that you can see on ground that are geared towards actually reforming these agencies? None, absolutely none. So really, I do not expect anything to come out from this government with regards to strengthening these institutions so as to make them more effective. I do not think that's going to happen under this government.
Would wait on the EFCC's explanation. There have been allegations, counter allegations. We hope that we can get some form of clarity and clarification from the EFCC. Thank you so much for your time with us this morning. We look forward to having you again.
Thank you so much for having me again.
All right.